Well, we found the Cactus Light. We found a win against the Cleveland Guardians, both in the finale and the series. And we found the courage to go ahead and part ways with Shaun Larkin over at third base. We're talking about all this in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, live from Studio K. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. And you know you've really screwed up when you get fired after a win. We are talking today about the Arizona Diamondbacks beating the Cleveland Guardians in exciting fashion in extra innings by a score of 3-2. We got to see the boys throwing shaving cream all over ABC and having a great time. But it ended with Shaun Larkin's time as the third base coach for the Arizona Diamondbacks ending today, as announced per Torey Lovullo. Welcome into the PHNX Diamondback Show. Again, I got my guy Damon Dog on the ones and twos. I am Derek Montilla, occasionally known as a guy who apparently is also a Shaun Larkin shill, just because I thought the Guardians made a very good play today. However, that play I'm referencing basically seems to have brought the end to Shaun Larkin's time as the third base coach for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And again, I'm trying not to make too many jokes about this because a man was relieved of his duties. He was not fired from the team. Torey Lovullo did say that he would go on to still coach the infield, so there will still be a role right now for Shaun Larkin, but that role will not be at third base. Torey Lovullo had more after the game on that particular decision that was made after this win. Here's what Torey had to say.
Sidebar, I decided to remove Shaun Larkin from third base. He's going to continue to take on his infield duties. I'm watching our infielders work hard and practice hard and have some really good results. But, Shaun's taken on a lot. It's a big responsibility over there at third base. I've tried to express to you guys the difficulties of it. But at this point in time, I just feel like the best thing for this ball club, for him, and for us moving forward is to make this decision. I know you want to know what some of the contingencies are, who's coming in. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just made that decision as I was watching this game today that for the best interest of him and this team, that's what needed to happen.
How difficult a decision was that?
Yeah, it's very difficult, right? You bring in a third base coach, and we all have known Shaun here for a long time. He was director of player development. He's got a great nose for this game, and he works hard. And those are all the things that I'm looking for every single day when I'm watching people work. But coaching third base is a really difficult thing at the major league level. The ball gets reversed really fast. Infielders are quick. They try to embarrass people. And the fact that the center fielder's legs were up in the air, and he stands up, picks up the ball, and throws a strike to Arias, who throws another strike to home plate. It was an unbelievable play, but that's what happens here. So we asked him to take on a lot. He hadn't ever coached third base before at this level, and probably hadn't done it in quite some time. So we were going to give him a little bit of a runway, but it's just got to the point where I needed to make this decision.
Well, it was a weird situation overall. Like I said, the Arizona Diamondbacks win this game by a score of 3-2. Yet after the game, the decision is made to essentially remove Shaun Larkin as third base coach, after a big extra innings win. And this one makes sense. I think that this is more of the culmination of work. Obviously, we all know the Diamondbacks have struggled this season when it comes to, I shouldn't even say the Diamondbacks, right? Shaun Larkin. Damon has struggled over there at third base. We have seen Shaun Larkin not only second guess himself. I mean, at one point, Suarez, when he was still a part of this team, had the most putouts at home plate of any player in the league. And honestly, right now, even, I was coming in here, I was going to talk about the win. I was fired up. I was trying to figure out a way to discuss this and then still not go super negative down the path of that big play over there that allowed essentially was just a poorly managed play over there at third base. But instead, what we're talking about is Shaun Larkin now no longer being the third base coach. The Diamondbacks have 18 putouts at home plate, which is third most in Major League Baseball. The other two that are ahead of them are the Tampa Bay Rays and the Phillies. And the Rays are just in a weird situation where they're a young team and they are playing in a weird ballpark and none of it makes any sense for them at home. Meanwhile, the Phillies are just a bunch of old dudes that still think that they got it and they don't, and they get thrown out at home a lot. But the Diamondbacks, meanwhile, they are not those things. This is a team that was very efficient, very effective on the base path over the last 2 seasons with Tony Perez-Chica over there at third base coach. And we just had gotten so used to TP being over there that I feel like we took it for granted. I know that he even got some flack as third base coach, and now most of us would love to have him back. But by the way, you know who has the third fewest putouts at home plate this season, Damon?
Who?
The Houston Astros.
Yeah, I'd like to put my hand up and say I was one of those people, and I apologize, TP. I didn't know what I had.
Yeah, well, it sucks, and this whole situation sucks. But I do think that overall, this is probably a move that came way too late. I think that's the reason why it was surprising. But today's error was egregious. I will say that even though it was being a little sarcastic on Twitter with the tweet I put out, and apparently my sarcasm does not translate well over sometimes to tweets, but I do think that the Cleveland Guardians made an incredible play after what looked like a mistake in the outfield was made there by Angel Martinez, who stumbled while making a play on a James McCann double. That is the play in question here today, where Alek Thomas was heading to third base. Because of the stumble, Shaun Larkin sent Alek Thomas. Thomas ends up getting thrown out by a mile at home plate. It wasn't even a close play. But I will stand by the first part of that sarcastic tweet where I was saying that the defense did make an outstanding play, as Major League Baseball defenses tend to do, right? Like, we've talked about applying the pressure. Hell, we just talked about it last night when we were talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks having those 3 triples in the win against the Guardians, and that some of those look like they might have been maybe inside the park home run candidates. I think after seeing what the Guardians just did to the Diamondbacks in that particular play, we can all agree that none of those plays would have been in the park home runs, and the Guardians would have probably done the same thing on all 3 of those triples had the Diamondbacks tried to make that attempt at an inside the park home run, and people would have definitely been screaming for Shaun Larkin's job. In fact, because he didn't send those guys in yesterday's game, Damon, I saw a few people on our Twitter timeline actually praising him for being able to have restraint and make the right call. However, 18 putouts at home this season with this particular offense feels fairly inexcusable. You also have the fact that just recently you had Jake McCarthy have a weird instance where he did hold up. I believe that was in game 1 of this series where he did hold up Jake McCarthy over there. And Jake flashed him a look that definitely made it look like he was frustrated with Larkin's call and did not agree with not sending him in that moment. As far as today goes, it really felt like on a day where the Diamondbacks were struggling offensively to do anything against a young rookie making his MLB debut in Tyler Messick, who, to take nothing away from Tyler Messick, he was great today, and I knew this was the exact kind of outing he was going to have against the Diamondbacks because they always have this type of outing against a young arm making their debut. But this one felt fairly egregious considering how important that particular play was to today's game prior to all of the excitement later. And that's the problem is, we do have the 9th inning, home run by Lourdes Gurriel, which we're going to talk about, and I promise I'll get more excited and more positive about. But when it comes to a game like this, you can't just sweep under the rug the mistakes that were made, because had Gurriel not been the hero there in the bottom of the 9th, we would be talking about a 2-1 loss, and we would be hyper-focused on this particular instance, which honestly does deserve to be focused on, because again, this really let the winds out of the sail in the 5th inning. It felt like the Diamondbacks finally got something going. It felt like this was their chance not only to score. Had Thomas not been put out there at third base, this is the alternate reality that we have no idea how things actually would have played out, but it would appear, based on how things did play out, that Thomas would have scored on the subsequent hit or ground out or whatever the case may be come next. It also would appear that James McCann would have had an opportunity to score because there would have been less outs, and the Diamondbacks would not have gone without any runs there in that situation. That felt like their best opportunity to score until the 9th inning. But again, this is just one of those decisions that kind of needed to be made. And Torey did talk about Larkin taking accountability. He did say that he accepted this decision and understood that he has not done his job this year as a third base coach. And even though that was the case, it didn't make this decision any easier. Here's what Torey Lovullo had to say about Larkin taking accountability.
Great, very accountable. He understood. He knew that it was creating a lot of noise for this organization, a lot of noise for me, and he was embarrassed by that, and he takes full responsibility for that. I know I almost do it to a fault, and you guys hammer me for it, but I'm going to back people. I do my dirty work one-on-one, and what I got to say to somebody face-to-face, it's my business with that person. I don't want to be spraying all over the place. To the public, I think that's our house. We got to take care of our house. I was raised that way throughout the course of my life. So I was really happy with how he took accountability and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't do my job, and this is what happens when you don't do your job."
Well, and to be fair, he hasn't done his job well. I know a lot of people are bringing up Brian Kaplan as well. I mean, that's a situation to be dealt with for a different day. However, both situations are similar. Neither of those individuals had experience doing the jobs that they were hired for. Doesn't mean that Kaplan hasn't. He was a great part of the Phillies organization. A lot of people very much coveted him, and this felt like a good move as far as giving a guy an opportunity. If the decisions go poorly, of course, it looks like a blunder. If this guy ends up being the next greatest pitching coach, the next Brent Strom, if you will, then it looks like one of the most genius moves you ever made by giving a guy that specialized in biomechanics that position, But again, Shaun Larkin has been a big part of this organization, and according to this news, will continue, like I said earlier, to be a part of the organization. But the Diamondbacks do not know at this time who will be the third base coach on Friday, and this is what Torey had to say about that decision.
For some reason, I'm just reminded of Kenny Dillingham. Remember where he said, "I want everybody to come in here and we're going to have a kicking contest for a new kicker." Kenny D's the best. I don't think we're in that state of mind. We have some candidates. We have some internal candidates. We have some external candidates. I've been in this game a long time. I know a lot of really good baseball people. Mike does. Banny does. The inner circle of people that are making the decision clearly do. We're going to reach beyond that. We got to figure this out pretty quick. We got to get to work and figure out who that person is. And once again, we have some really good internal candidates, and we're gonna sift through those now as I'm done here.
Noted Shaun Larkin fan Killer Rex says he's the new third base coach because he wants to take over for his favorite person on the team. Sorry, Killer Rex. Your constant defense of Shaun Larkin will not be accepted on this day. Now, when I talk about Shaun Larkin overall, though, I will say that, him still being in the organization, I'm sure some people are mad enough that they're probably wondering why. And again, it really feels like, as Torey addressed there, this team, this third base coach situation feels like it's been a black eye on this organization since the first day of the season. I feel like going back in April, we were talking about this team kind of losing its identity, no longer creating the chaos that they have done. Nor did it really feel like this team, who is still a very fast team, very talented team, was just doing some of those things on the base path that we have become used to seeing, right? So this move makes a lot of sense. As many of you are saying, it comes maybe 60 games too late. And I'm not going to do that's the funny part about baseball, but it is, because baseball is one of those things that unfortunately you constantly feel like decisions you make are essentially going to be giving up on people too soon. It doesn't matter if that personnel is a coach, if those are people in the dugout, if that's people in the bullpen, it doesn't matter. You always feel like, that especially someone like Torey Lovullo, that, as many of you know, is so loving, so touchy-feely, so just such a dad to the team, that he wants to give everybody so many chances before making these tough decisions. And maybe that part is what makes it tough for him to be a manager. And sometimes as a manager, you have to make those tough decisions. You have to make them earlier on than we're seeing this team, make. And again, today is a weird day to make that decision. Today is a weird day to fire a coach, or essentially remove them at least from their position, not fire them from the organization, after the Diamondbacks had such an exciting win. They won this game in extra innings. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. delivered. My little LG3 is thrilled about that. And this team just pulled off a great series win here against the Cleveland Guardians, right? So they win this one in 10 innings by a score of 3-2. Their record improves to 62-66. This is they hit their 8th homer in the 9th inning or later to tie the game or take the lead, and that's the part that's really impressive. The 9th inning strikes again, down by 1 in the bottom of the 9th. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hits that solo home run to tie the game up in 2. Then a impressive performance there by Andrew Saalfrank in the top of the 10th to keep the Guardians' ghost runner from scoring and keep the game tied. And then in the bottom of the 10th, ADC is pinch hits for James McCann and delivers with all he really needed to do with the excellent bunting by Alek Thomas was get Pavin Smith in with a sac fly. Instead, he hits one of the longest or shortest singles of his career that allowed Pavin Smith to score and the Diamondbacks to walk it off in 10 innings. And it's weird because this news of Shaun Larkin, I know it's celebratory for some of you, but it really does feel like it brought the mood down after a series win substantially, even though this was a big win for this team. They had their 5th walk-off win. That's not enough at this point of the season. With 60 games left to go, or excuse me, not less than 60 games left to go. Really, this is just their 5th walk-off win of the year. That seems kind of crazy. This was also their 6th one-run game.
And 2 have happened in the last week, Derek.
Yeah, I
because
know.
last time when you mentioned the 4th one, you were like, that seems insane that they've only had
4 walk-off wins. Right. I mean, that right there tells you that this team doesn't have that magic going for them this season. You know what I mean?
Gene. I mean, it's a silly argument that happens in sports all the time, but it feels real in this circumstance.
It does. And again, we've seen that out of several players on this team. And I'm curious as to what how the feeling is in the clubhouse, as Shaun brings up here. Shaun says, I bet the players' mood is just fine. They were tired of that guy. El Gallo says they don't trust Larkin anymore. Torey did answer the question after making this announcement that said he did feel like the players had somewhat lost trust in Larkin, and I think that was exemplified by Jake McCarthy's reaction there the other night. But again, here in the 9th inning, the Diamondbacks are tied for 1st in Major League Baseball's in home runs in the 9th inning with 20. Their 60 runs scored in the 9th inning is 2nd in the National League, and their team OPS of 796 in the 9th inning is also 1st in the National League. That comes courtesy of our guys over at AZ Dbacks Stats and Info on Twitter. But again, just a big win for this team. Lourdes Gurriel just did it all day. He got the first RBI of the day with a little backhand tennis swing for an RBI single that scored Marte and tied the game up at 1 in the 1st inning. And then again, I don't feel like we really need to revisit that, but considering this game was almost lost 2-1, that send by Shaun Larkin there in the 5th inning of Alek Thomas really proved to be detrimental to this team. Not only did it feel like it was their breakthrough inning that got kind of squashed there by getting put out at home, but it also felt like the offense just kind of fell flat after that. You just really didn't see them putting together very much effort going forward. This Guardians pitching staff is very good, and the Diamondbacks did a great job at getting to the bullpen. But I think I said earlier, it really felt like you just felt the breath taken out of Chase Field. There weren't a lot of people there, but the people that were there were let down. There were some very loud Guardians fans, though. I'm glad they got sent home.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
I'll pop on screen here, Derek. That is, I gotta say, I think the Guardians are the most shocking team that takes over Chase Field. And because I've gone to past games when they were formerly the Indians, and I feel like Cleveland fans always dominate Chase Field, and I don't understand how there's enough of them. You know Cleveland is a smaller city than Tucson?
I'll tell you why. They are a team that have played spring training baseball in Arizona for a very long time.
But that's not always the case with every spring training team, though. Mariners fans aren't dominating Chase Field.
No. But I do think that's the case with Goodyear and the Guardians, and I also think that's the case with Maryvale and the Brewers. I think that people that live in those neighborhoods that have gone to those games for a long time, a lot of those people, a lot of those families have been there watching those spring training games long before an Arizona Diamondbacks franchise ever existed. So that bloodline for who you decide to root for, which laundry you decide to root for. It's forever, right? Like it's hard to break out of it.
I was gonna go more along the lines of gnarly old goat dude and say Ohio just sucks that bad.
That's true too.
They're like,
I'm not gonna.
oh, we can move to Arizona and it's about the same price.
Oh, I'm not.
Let's do it.
Look, I normally am like, Damon, don't go ahead and attack a whole city of people. But in this case, please go off. Cleveland is one of the worst cities I've ever driven through. And I say driven through because I refused to stop there, even for gas. It was like, look at this smog hanging over this industrial wasteland of a town. Let's hurry up and get the hell out of here.
The river caught on fire.
Oh, it's not a good place to go. It's not a good place to go. Don't go there for at all when it comes to vacations. That's for sure. But defensively, this team wasn't very sharp today. It didn't help considering how close this game was and how much those defensive mistakes mattered. Alek Thomas just missed an incredible. I'm going to say this about both of these plays before I talk about this. Alek Thomas missed an incredible play. Corbin Carroll missed an incredible play. Here's what's funny is when you are super talented and super fast and can range like these guys are and get to the ball, a ball that a lot of outfielders wouldn't have even been close to making an attempt on that kind of play, then, again, you kind of find yourself in this situation where Thomas was this close to making an incredible diving catch in center field to rob Stephen Kwan of a hit. Instead, he comes up short, and then Kwan would score on a Bo Naylor ground out for the game's first run. Then in the second inning, same thing with Corbin Carroll, right? A lot of players wouldn't have even had a chance of that ball in the corner. They probably would have played it off the wall and held CJ Kayfis to like a double, and then he doesn't score because of the way that the inning plays out. However, Corbin was this close to making a pretty incredible catch. He did not. He misses the play, and then he's not in a position to make a good play, which allowed Kayfis to reach third for a triple. He then scores, and that wouldn't have happened. So, again, I know it's just a small thing, especially on a great day like this, as far as what they did there in the ninth inning and how close they were able to keep this game. Don't want to focus too much, but little things like that mattered in a game that was this close. And quite frankly, this is the reason why when they talk about Diamondbacks baseball, these little mistakes don't happen. These amazing catches usually do happen, and you just feel like maybe the Diamondbacks didn't even need to be in a position to be down 2-1. Maybe they were just they should have maybe been 1-0 and closed this game out in the top of the ninth instead of the bottom of the ninth. But the Diamondbacks do have a gap over there at first base, by the way. Since the Naylor trade, the Diamondbacks have not been very good at first base. They are 13 for 67 over there. That's basically Tyler Locklear and a little bit of Pavin Smith. They have 3 extra base hits in that span. And all offensive stats for Diamondbacks first base are last in MLB over that span. So,
and you can't have that at that position if you want to be a good baseball team.
You just can't. You can maybe make that sacrifice a little bit at third base with someone like Blaze Alexander, who is inconsistent but still has some good numbers and still can put the bat on the ball. But first base you just can't because of the availability of guys that can play that position defensively
and they can hit
and offer you more than what you're currently getting offered.
Yeah, I mean the 2023 World Series, like I remember the biggest flaw when you look back at that team, right, was the lack of third base production for the most part. I mean, you had Emmanuel Rivera, and I know Evan Longoria made some really big plays, especially in that Brewers series in the NLDS, or in the wild card. But he wasn't hitting necessarily at the level that you would need a good third baseman to hit at.
Yeah.
First base, you can't even get away with it at.
No.
You can't have the worst first baseman offensive production in the league. And I got to be honest, man, I was hyped for Tyler Locklear. I think you got to get the panic button and put it out on the table and just look at it a little bit, right? Because how could you go into 2026 and be like, yeah, let's pencil Tyler Locklear in the starting lineup. He hasn't shown you that he's
1,000%
that he's going to be able to do that. So you have to put that now on the 2025-2026 offseason kind of list now of what upgrades do the Diamondbacks have to make, and Tyler Locklear really has to make the most of his opportunities. Same with Pavin Smith in the final portion of the season, because I don't see how the Diamondbacks could go into next season with those guys as their top 2 options. I really don't, if they want to be competitive.
I know he was having a bad season, but this is the reason why I brought up Nathaniel Lowe, and the Boston Red Sox seem to agree with me because they acquired Nathaniel Lowe on a 1-year deal. And I just think that, like you said, the Diamondbacks, the Diamondbacks have no...
How could you suggest such a thing?
I know, I'm a moron, right? But it's because the baseball players are so weird, and you never know when a guy that's proven at one point to be very, very good at major league level is either one, just kind of in a funk and ready to come out of it based on maybe like a change of scenery and a change of an organization, but two, also you never know when they're just done. Their career is over. It's a wrap, right? So like that's the reason why I don't really feel like any other sport has that steep decline that baseball does, where someone can be an all-star 2 years ago and now not even serviceable as a first baseman right now. So I still think he probably has something left in the tank, and I think the Diamondbacks could have used somebody like that with the way that they've been picking up players and adding them from kind of the bargain bin over the course of this stretch with all the injuries that they've experienced. I say, why not try to get yourself some better option over there at first base? But got some contributions, just not a lot from the key players today. Ketel Marte was 1 for 3 with a run scored and a walk. Corbin Carroll was 1 for 4. Alek Thomas, really, I felt like Alek Thomas, even though he was part of that send and all of that earlier, I think that he has really started to come on. I feel like he is spreading the ball around the field a little bit more. That bunt in the 10th inning was perfection. Absolute perfection, and it's exactly what the Diamondbacks needed to get Pavin Smith over to third base. They played the 10th inning the exact way that they needed to, and they end up with a win. Imagine that. Look at that. Look at the way it works out. But, of course, ADC comes into the game in the 10th inning, delivers that big walk-off single, and we did get a chance to see him kind of covered there a little bit, clean himself off of the shaving cream and whatever other – I don't want to say – whatever other liquids were poured on him. That feels like a wrong way to put it, but it's whatever other things that he was doused in due to his success in this game. Here's what ADC had to say about the walk-off.
Just try to get a pitch up in the zone. I know it's a little in cutter. The guy is a pretty good cutter, but I got enough barrel. Obviously broke my bat too. Enough barrel to put it, where it landed. So pretty cool.
Zabe in the chat says, "Ooh, you have no idea. You weren't having to stand in that room next to him and wondering what this stuff was." But again, big hit for him. And I know it's a short career. I know he hasn't had consistent success, but man, feels like when the Diamondbacks need a hitter, ADC is that guy. That's why he was called upon in this moment. And obviously, we know he had the big walk-off last year, which was a little different. That one went for a home run, but here's what he had to say comparing those two moments that he's had as a part of this team.
Yeah, two outrageous ones. One broken bat hit, and obviously got all of the other one, but they're still the same. We won a game and still did what I needed to do to get the run in. So, yeah.
All right. Well, of course, ADC probably deserves some consideration for King Snake, but we have to give it to the guy that got us there. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 2 for 4 tonight. I want to call it a game-winning home run, Damon, because it really felt like it was. Like, it just put them into such a good position. And obviously, without the Guardians having Emmanuel Clase right now, due to that whole scandal, that whole situation, it made that 9th inning a little bit easier to come back. Maybe they don't have that opportunity if he's out there and a part of this team right now.
Yeah, regarding Lourdes, I mean, you got to give him a ton of credit for how he's been playing recently, right?
Yes,
because
we just talked about that. He's been delivering for his team.
He really has, since he's gotten moved up in the lineup and kind of been forced into that cleanup hitter role because of the lack of options, right? No Josh Naylor, no Eugenio Suarez. But I also, part of me is like, if Lourdes could have just hit like this when you had those guys on the team, what kind of record are we talking about right now? Because Lourdes was pretty bad for large portions of this season, was giving you almost nothing, and then right when the season seems like it's over, he's just like, okay, cool, I'm back to being a good hitter again. And it's like, that would have been nice in April and May.
Well,
it would have been great.
Known baseball GM Elise says when Lourdes is on one of his patented hot streaks, he's one of the best hitters in baseball.
He waited until after the trade deadline to do it this time and really kind of screwed over this team in the process, in my opinion.
I don't honestly know what happens sometimes. And obviously I've said it time and time again, playing baseball is very difficult. It's a very mental sport, but it does feel like at times this team goes into a mode where you almost feel like they're expecting other guys to do it. And Lourdes Gurriel almost feels like he's in that, well, crap, there's no one else to do it. I guess I got to take care of it. And it's like, yeah, why weren't you taking care of it this whole time? Why weren't you, if you could grill steaks this well, why weren't you grilling steaks this well every single night? Why aren't we just eating like kings with this amazing ability to grill steaks and eat and cook them this well, right? Lourdes Gurriel, again, he is a streaky hitter. And that's why it is fairly infuriating when he's hot, that when he cools off, to look back at what he was doing over the last 4-week stretch and now where he's at. But luckily, at least for this day, at least for this win, he was hot. And Lourdes Gurriel is our king snake. We do have an egregious error to correct from last night. I know there was nobody that doubted or questioned who was last night's king snake. However, after Damon toiled away on this beautiful graphic, we did not show it. So here's Corbin Carroll from last night, our king snake for the Game 2 win. They're being very fast.
The fastest man alive.
Looking very handsome. Like, again, he looks like a space shuttle re-entering the atmosphere from outer space. It looks like the patches on his jersey are ripping off due to the force of the velocity of how fast he's running. It looks like his hair is going to come off. That's not very good. Trust me, as a guy that struggles with a particular similar situation, it's not great there. But
Corbin, the big cat Carroll.
Corbin, the big cat Carroll.
That's what Torey Lovullo called him last night, and he's a cheetah. That's a big cat.
He is a cheetah. Yeah, he is a cheetah, but he's not a cheater.
No, that's
Right.
That's Shohei Ohtani.
That's Shohei Ohtani and Jose Altuve. We've established that well. Even though Torey did have to take care of that business in regards to Shaun Larkin, here's what Torey had to say after the game on this win and what it means to this ball club.
You know, this was such a massive win for us. We've been dealing with a lot of emotional wear and tear, and against a team that comes in, they're hot, they're playing good baseball, they're well coached, and to win a series, to win the last 2 games, especially the way we did, was an awesome moment. To watch everybody celebrate and have a good moment, which they deserve, was fantastic. And these are things that can build, you can build off of and create a little bit of momentum. So, my expectation and my standard is that we're going to go out and be as ready as we can on Friday. But I want them to enjoy this. And you have an off day, and you can pile it into that off day. But to watch them celebrate was fantastic. We had a great pitching effort by Brandon Pfaadt. We had the big home run by Gurriel that ties the game against a really good closer. And you go back a couple of days, their bullpen had a little wear and tear on them because we've been playing close games and staying in games and fighting. So their 2 of their main guys come in. It's 3 out of 4 days, and maybe makes a mistake that he wouldn't have made had we not been in that situation. So this is a big buildup, and that's why this team. I'm so proud of this team because they just keep fighting. And it was a huge moment to hit that home run. But Alek Thomas bunts a guy over. I go back to 2.5 years ago where he said he'd never ever bunted in the minor leagues, and we've been hammering him and just drilling him as much as we can. He lays down a perfect bunt, and then Del chips in that base hit. Sal Frank comes in and does his job. It's a complete team win, and those are the ones that excite me the most.
Well, of course, this one was a gritty win for this team. Not that it makes too much of a difference in regards to their season, but this was a Guardians team that was playing good baseball. They have a lot still to play for themselves, and the Diamondbacks played spoiler a bit in this series, taking the series 2-1. We're going to talk about Brandon Pfaadt's day on the mound on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, if you're dealing with a change of situation in your life, make sure to check out Pure Edibles. It can help you get through it. Not only can it help alleviate your mood, it can hopefully help you get a good night's sleep. Check out the wide variety of candy that Pure Edibles has to offer. They're a full-fledged candy company. They're not just in it just to deliver the inside part. They are here to make the outside part delicious with offering gummies, kicks, which are their version of Starburst, chews, which are soft candies like caramels, and hard candies as well. So check out the full line of candies and, of course, effects that Pure's has to offer. Pure candies offer their effects clearly listed on each tin. They offer gummies for sleep support as well as candies with uplifting effects. And they were created right here in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles. Now they are made here in the Valley in Phoenix. They're designed to be ripped in half or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. So go find yourself some Pure Edible products from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And make Chicken and Pickle in Glendale your spot for good food, good friends, and good fun. Not only is it a great place to go out and play pickleball with their outdoor and indoor courts, it's going to start cooling off, so those outdoor courts are going to be an option before you know it. But for now, they have indoor air-conditioned courts. They also have TVs everywhere you look. They have amazing spaces for you to hang out with you and yours, whether you're looking for a place to go with coworkers, with family, or just with friends. Check out Chicken and Pickle. Their food is amazing. And if you love pickleball and yard
It really
games,
is. The food is great.
I mean, so much so that Damon learned a recipe for one of their sandwiches and has tried to perfect it. That is how much this food has impacted our lives, for sure.
They brine their chicken in pickle juice. And it's actually fantastic.
It's an amazing thing to do with your
And they
own.
give you a whole grilled jalapeno with your meal.
They're serving up good times on the court and great food in the restaurant. Make sure to check them out. Visit Chicken and Pickle at 9330 West Hannah Lane in Glendale. It's out there at Westgate. You can't miss it. It's one of the biggest facilities to have fun that I've ever seen. They offer great food, cold drinks, and lots of fun on their indoor and outdoor pickleball courts and game yard. Family-friendly fun awaits. Visit chickenandpickle.com to plan your visit today.
Derek, we have perhaps the funniest chat in the history of the PHNX Dbacks podcast. Killer X says, "I'm high on life," after rambling like a crazy man about nicknames and how the most hated actor in the world should play Torey Lovullo and so on and so forth.
I'm fairly certain he's high on marijuana. He might be high on hate. High on hate might be.
Well, and then Shaun says, "Rex, if this is you high on life, then I don't want to know what it's like when you're down." Respectfully.
I don't ever want to meet you in a bad mood, pal. That's for sure. Glove Ready, thank you for your super chat. He says, found out I have to move to Seattle for work this winter. Gonna miss going to D-backs games, but I will make sure I'm heard when the Snakes show up at T-Mobile Park. We'll miss you guys. Go Naylor. Yeah, man. I mean, enjoy yourself.
You can still watch.
You can still watch.
In fact,
the MLB package, you won't be blacked out, right?
Sometimes shows are earlier, right? If you're on Pacific time and we're not at that moment. I don't know if that happens during baseball season. I get confused. I'm from Arizona. Times don't make sense to me. I just kind of do my own thing.
We don't participate in that whole time zone nonsense here, but
enjoy Seattle.
I love Seattle. I had a great time there. I do love how you can get on the train from the airport and go directly to the sport facilities and then just get back on the train and go back. But Shane's now in earshot, so I can't say anything bad about Seattle. Good about Seattle. It's bad. It's bad. You're gonna have a bad time. Boo. Okay, he's gone. You're gonna have a great time. It's lovely there. Everyone brings their dogs out everywhere. The weather is dreary, but it actually doesn't rain as much as people make it out to be.
I'll say this: if you're from Arizona,
snows.
And you're going there, maybe not long term forever, but I think it could be a nice little change of pace.
He's back. Again, we weren't supposed to say nice things about
Shane says the summer's nice.
Yeah, he did.
He said the rest of the year is not.
Good luck. Enjoy yourself. It's going to be the opposite of what you know. But Brandon Pfaadt was on the mound today for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he got himself wrapped up in a little bit of a pitching duel with Guardians pitcher Tyler Messick, who was making his MLB debut. Both guys pitched wonderfully. Hats off to both of these guys. And the defense wasn't particularly strong, as I addressed earlier, behind Brandon Pfaadt. Both of those defensive mistakes that were made, or at least those lack of incredible plays being made by his outfielders, did not allow or allowed some runs to score. But he got dialed in as the game progressed, and I think that's the most important part about Brandon Pfaadt, is he almost has a little bit of that, a little bit of that Merrill Kelly gene in him, where, he might get nicked up there early or in some inning, but he can, be pretty outstanding outside of it. And he can definitely adapt and change to the outing. In this particular situation, he said after the game that his changeup was working pretty good. His sinker changeup combo was kind of what he was going with. He threw each pitch nearly 30% of the outing. I think he threw the sinker 31%. He threw the changeup like 29%. Stayed away from the strike zone quite a bit. I think we have his pitch chart image here. And again, that's what he was doing there with his sinker and his changeup combo is he was coming in on guys. He was staying out of the zone. I mean, obviously there's plenty of pitchers there in the zone, but that was more of his four-seam fastball and his sweeper. Meanwhile, that sinker and, the changeup specifically, he kept outside of the zone. His sinker hit 95 miles per hour, where his season average has been 93. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if you want your sinker necessarily being that fast, but if it's effective, I'm with it. He got 10 whiffs today. 5 were on his changeup, which was his best pitch there, as he discussed. And speaking of him discussing it, here is Brandon Pfaadt on his outing.
Good, solid. I think outside the first inning, I think we were able to settle in nicely, leaned on the changeup today, and kind of stuck with that, and that played well.
What would you say the biggest differences was in kind of settling into the game?
I think just locating and getting ahead. That's something we struggled at in the first, and I think it showed, and just letting them get on base early and kind of things not going our way after that. But if we get those leadoff guys out and stay in that attack mode, and then changeup was great. So we, like I said, we leaned on that, and we were able to get the job done.
Well, he gave the Diamondbacks another lengthy start, and that's one thing that Brandon Pfaadt has done consistently this year, besides that yes hitter, which we won't mention. But his line today...
No idea what you're talking about.
No idea what? Yes hitter? What? I've never heard of a yes hitter. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 2 earned runs. He walked 1. He struck out 5. Let's fire up the Circle K strikeout meter for 5 big strikeouts. Remember, with every K you win at Circle K, text strike to 31310 to start saving on fuel, food, and drinks. After every Dbacks home game, Brandon Pfaadt, once again, will get you today any size hot coffee. Speaking of cup of coffee, Juan Murillo needs to stick around for more than a cup of coffee. He was good today. He did allow 1 hit in relief, but he struck out 2 in his inning of work. He did have a wild pitch, but still looks fairly dominant out there in a bullpen role, and looks like one of those guys that might stick around, might end up being playing a bigger role for this team as we progress, not only for the rest of the season, but for 2026. Meanwhile, John Curtis, he's always there. He's always lurking. He's always around. And today, he was once again pretty good for this team. He gave them more than an inning of relief, 1 1/3 innings pitched. He walked 1, struck out 2, and we're going to proceed to make John Curtis's head bigger for every good outing he has. Soon, it'll take up the entire screen there. John, go away. Get out of here. This is my time. You had your moment, your media availability after the game. But the big part of today's win is Andrew Saul Frank. Better Call Saul Frank is doing the thing this year. I mean, I know it's a small sample size. I don't want to get crazy about it. But since
Derek, we don't have anything to cheer for in the bullpen.
Since we lose our minds when things are instantly bad, can't we lose our minds when things are instantly good too?
Here's where I'm at with it. I mean, we super bad Andrew Hoffman. We obviously crowned him and gave him a nickname and everything before he even played an inning for us or threw a pitch.
I knew a piece of Yoshi said I cursed him with the tweet. I think I cursed him with the nickname. Super bad?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was begging for him to actually be bad by calling him bad.
I'm just saying that we don't have a whole lot to hang our hats on when it comes to bullpen help. And so when you get a guy out there who has 3 successful outings in a row, I think all of us are scarred enough at the point where we're like, is he the best? Do we have Mariano Rivera in our bullpen right now?
Andrew Saul Frank has a 1.65 ERA this season.
Bang!
I say it like ASMR because it's really sexy to hear that. 1.65 ERA. Elizabeth says super bad is too good of a nickname not to use it, curse or not. I know, right? And again, when you look like Jonah Hill and sound like Michael Cera, I'm not supposed to call you super bad. But I really did feel like I damned him with that. You are right, though. Saul Frank, again, this is one of those guys that deserves to be celebrated considering how bad everybody else in the bullpen has been. We'll see if this develops. Once again, Saul Frank, he gets the win today, does not get the save. He does have 2 saves, which is the most saves of anybody right now in the active bullpen. But again, this was all set up pretty well by Brandon Pfaadt. We did have a little bit more from Brandon. Here's what Brandon had to say about that changeup and why it worked so well for him today.
Yeah, I think it comes and goes. Sometimes the slider's better, sometimes the changeup's better, so it just depends on the day. And ideally, we'd like to have both, but sometimes we don't have those. And with a predominantly lefty lineup, I think we knew that changeup was going to play, and we leaned on that a little more.
Just a solid pitching performance from Brandon, solid pitching performance from the bullpen, and the Diamondbacks win another 1-run game against this Cleveland Guardians team. You and I just said it last night, but they do not win very many 1-run games this year. Again, they don't win very many walk-offs either. So it was great to see both of those. And just something that allowed the team, right, Damon? I mean, you were just talking about us, that we have nothing, and we want to cheer for something. We want to be excited. Like
nothing.
I was thrilled to see these guys blaring music in the clubhouse and looking like they just broke something because we all came in the clubhouse way too early with Torey Lovullo dealing with the Shaun Larkin situation. We went into the clubhouse first, and the players very much did not appear to want to see us in there because they had just been having fun celebrating, and we bum them out. We bring them down. So they were like, oh, God, why are they here? But, again, it was a fun time for all.
Roger Beshin's football slider had no idea Brandon Pfaadt threw a slider. I mean, that can't happen.
That's crazy.
He's the slider guy.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
So I'm guessing it's not a football slider.
He calls it a sweeper, I think. They call it weird names. They call these pitches whatever the hell they
Pfaadt called it a slider in his...
I know, he did. But he'll call it a sweeper tomorrow. And then Brian Thompson will call it something else. And none of these guys, they don't help. They make up new names for pitches.
Maybe he needs to learn how to throw a football slider.
Maybe. Stiff wrist. Throw it like a football, right? That's the key. I'm giving away secrets on air. Roger Beshins is going to be furious. What are you going to pay $49.99 for to get the Roger Beshins instructional video if I'm telling you how to throw the football slider here live on this show? Sorry about that, Roger. But what we are going to do is we're going to take a look at the numbers from this series on the other side of this break. And then we're also going to talk about Padres security guards being way too overzealous and tackling a small child the other night. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, games that the Arizona Diamondbacks are a part of are never ordinary, as was displayed today. And of course, it's never ordinary over at Bet365. Make sure to download the Bet365 app. It makes watching live games like this more fun, especially with the live in-game betting. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available across 78 sports for you to live in-game bet. So check out their early payout offer for MLB. It's fun to bet on baseball, and you can do so with the Bet365 app. You're a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs, regardless of the actual outcome of the game, with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. So right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. All you got to do is sign up and use that code of PHNX365. Deposit $10 and place a bet of $5 or more to receive $150 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And it is no secret that everyone in Arizona looks for ways to stay cool and comfortable during the summer because it's hot. Today is hot. It was another one of those heat warnings. You know, bring your pets in, bring your folks in, and make sure that they're not outside. But of course, APS wants to help you out. You know that a lot of your money for your energy costs come from cooling your home. You can help save yourself a tremendous amount with a smart thermostat. If you do not have a smart thermostat already, APS wants to get you one. With a smart thermostat, you can control your temperature when you're away. You can set schedules so that way you know exactly what the temperature is going to be at certain times in your home. And you can even, as I've said before, check on your usage of your AC so you know how much is you're using every day and if there might be a problem there. So APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards, plus a free installation is available at our link in the video description. Must be an APS customer and must pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions do apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more info. All right. Well, of course, let's see here. El Gallo says, Mr. Mayor, I'll be the one to give false hope. If they sweep the Reds, we could be back. That's a lot from El Gallo. So I'm going to let you guys handle that. I do not want to give any more false hope, but I will buy your false hope. I want to purchase your false hope. Please take my money with false hope, and I am here as a customer to buy into false hope right now. But let's take a look at the numbers from this series after the Diamondbacks do win this against the Guardians. And actually, before we do that, I did want to first say that the Diamondbacks, again, this was one of those series where overall it feels like they could have S-worded it. I still don't think I'm safe to say it any longer, but the Guardians, again, they're a tough team. Diamondbacks did take care of business in the close games, though, and overall, this is just a fantastic situation for them to be in, at least as far as how bad things felt after they got swept by the Rockies. Now, I was glad that Jesse pointed out that overall, even though we did feel like sweeping the Rockies was going to put us much closer to that wild card spot, I do believe that had they done that, they would have been 4 games back in the wild card. We're going to take a look at where they are currently, but yeah, again, it's pretty much the proximity to the wild card here that gives us this false hope, right?
Back
Here-
to third place, baby.
Here we look at the drunken orgy of violence that we love to call the NL West, and the Los Angeles Dodgers still sit atop of the division at 72-54. The San Diego Padres, they are 70-56, and they have a weird reputation now for tackling small children. Maybe not them, but their security team does. They are 2 games back in the division. And
No, they get to wear that.
They do get to wear that for sure. Adam, by the way, looked on from the mound in horror while that happened, and it was one of the funniest things that happened. But I can't wait to talk about a small child getting tackled by security. But that's in segment 4. Now we're talking about the Padres being up 2.5 games in the wild card. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks now sit at 62-66. They're 11 games back in the division, and they are 6.5 back in the wild card. Giants, similar position. They are 61-66. I don't quite know how they can be the same with different records. I think that they might be 6.5 and the Diamondbacks might be 6 back.
Nope.
No? Well, it's 61 and okay. Well, math isn't mathing on this one for me, but still 11 back in the division, still 6.5.
It's because if the Diamondbacks as like yesterday were 61-65, they were an extra half game back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but because they hadn't played that, so now
math is hard. Math is just hard.
I think I might have maybe plugged in one of these numbers wrong.
Okay.
And it does make sense.
All right. Well, no, I mean, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We shouldn't scoreboard watch. With this is already taken up to, we have put too much brain power, more than the Diamondbacks deserve, into this thought process because it doesn't really matter. We're not going to get our hopes up. And if we do get our hopes up, we're going to wait until they're within 3 games back. And even then, I'm still probably not going to get my hopes up about anything.
The Giants are, I think I put them having an extra loss there.
Okay.
Yeah, they're 61-65. The Dbacks are 62-66, and that's
okay.
why they have the exact same
Boom,
records.
we
there.
figured it out. Now we figured it out. But overall here, again, it's one of those situations where I do want to buy in hope. I'm not going to peddle hope, so we'll wait to see. But you are right. The Red Series is a very important series. The Diamondback schedule is incredibly difficult going forward. One of the most difficult schedules from here until the end of the season that any Major League Baseball team has. So if they do the thing, they earned it. They deserve it. They earned it because it's going to be it's a tall hill to climb or a steep hill. I don't know. Now I'm getting into see, this is what Torey did to me. Now I don't even know metaphors or what anything means anymore. But let's take a look at the numbers from this series. The Diamondbacks won 2 games out of 3. Both teams scored 10 runs in these 2 games. The Guardians hit 3 home runs to the Diamondbacks 2. Then we have here runners in scoring position. Diamondbacks were 6 for 22 in this series for a 273 batting average. Meanwhile, the Guardians were 3 for 20 with a 150 batting average. And we know that offensively was their weakness. They really struggled in this series to produce runs outside of that, technically outside of game 2 that they lost 6-5. Diamondbacks, again, doing a little better. 273 as far as runners in scoring position. That plays. That will be something that will win this team games. Starting pitching ERA, Guardians still very good. They allowed 5 earned runs in this series. They have a 2.55 starting pitching ERA for the series. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks have a 4.12 starting pitching ERA. Really, that was kind of ballooned there, in game 2 a little bit by Eduardo Rodriguez allowing those 4 earned runs. But overall, 4.12 feels like you would take that this season as a team ERA for this starting rotation. And had they had a 4.12, they probably would have won more games than the amount of games they've won. Relief pitching ERA is the really impressive part. Bullpen, very good in this series for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They put up a 1.08 ERA. 1 earned run allowed. That was in game 2 in 8 1/3 innings pitched. Meanwhile,
one more time, Derek.
1 earned run allowed in 8 1/3 innings pitched. I'll do the ASMR thing. It's 1.08 ERA for the relief.
You have a really good voice for that, by the way. But I just have to say,
listen to it in your cans while
I
I'm
do.
doing it, so it's really weird. It's awkward. I'm making eye contact with Damon while I'm doing that.
You saying 1.08 relief pitching ERA is like speaking Mandarin Chinese to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
What? I don't understand. That's not something that this team does. So All right. Well, again, this team, a lot of fun to watch. We are going to take a quick break, and on the other side, I get to talk about security being overzealous. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Don't you go anywhere. Well, we are very proud to be partnering together with our friends at Rally House because I love team gear. Damon knows it. I don't come back from Chase Field without a new shirt or a new hat, and I love
Derek,
team gear.
you literally won who would wear team gear to a wedding.
I did.
As much as that makes you unhappy.
I'm still mad about that. I have too much style to ever wear team gear to a wedding, and you all know it. All of you bad fashion people not knowing how to dress going to a wedding. You think I'm going to wear team gear to well, I might. Damon put it that I might wear a suit that was like
I could see like a 3-piece suit that is like teal and red colored Diamondbacks themed.
Like Paul Skeens wore? Yes, I'm
and
on
it's
board
like
with that.
it's like the nicest suit ever. 100% I could see that.
Well, the place that I'm going to get my gear from now is Rally House. Rally House is the go-to spot to shop for all of your favorite local Arizona team gear. And yes, I said local because this place only carries Arizona sports teams too. You're not going to walk into the lobby and see a big old Dallas Cowboys statue there in the lobby when you go there.
There's another team that's much worse, Derek.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm just talking about one particular store by Westgate that I walked into during a Cardinals game and saw that in the lobby. You're not going to find that at Rally House. They, if you haven't checked them out, they have everything. They have hats, jerseys, drinkware, signage, coolers, socks. You need socks? Get yourself some socks. They even have team sunscreen. Every time you visit a Rally House, you're guaranteed to find something new, unique, and that matches your game day vibe. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. And of course, everyone needs a checking account. Mountain America Credit Union wants you to get a checking account with style. Their My Style checking account has perks just for you. Get the account with built-in benefits. You can enjoy restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, and more. They have loan rate discounts, which can help save you money there. And they offer deals on travel as well as events. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA, membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Well, Damon, I know I've been yapping for a long time, so where are we at? We should probably let the people know here soon. If you're watching, I'm not going to wrap this up by the end. I'm going to try to, but there's a very important thing that we need to cover, and that is the fact that a young kid was tackled by the Padres security after invading the field, and fans were not happy about it. I want to show you the two of the most hilarious pictures involving a baseball fan you might ever see. Here is this precocious youngster that goes unnamed, as you can see, probably a middle-aged, right? Like a junior high school student, maybe a little younger, probably not high school age.
Yeah,
yet.
I'm thinking like 6th grade looking at this
lad,
kid.
6th grade, 7th grade, something like that, out there having the time of his life, making these chumps that are security guards look like idiots by running around. I think he did a little lap around Fernando Tatis Jr. But unfortunately, when you do that, these things happen, Damon. These grown men felt the need to smash this small child in between them for no reason at all. It's because they're trained to not only take out a perpetrator in an instance like this, but to make sure nobody else tries it by showing such an aggressive showing of force that no one else would dare try to run on the field. And they needed to show that aggressive force against a 6th grader or 7th grader. Fun fact, it didn't keep someone else from going on the field later in the same game and doing the exact same thing. This was in the 8th inning of the Padres' 5-1 win over the Giants, drawing boos from the crowd while it happened. And what the hell are we even doing here, Damon? What are we doing? We're tackling small children? Can we not just grab him by his wrist? Are you not a grown adult that can like pick him up by his shirt? Maybe
I was gonna say like maybe like full bear hug, pick him up and walk him out.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me that
going
that is
full
even
contact to the ground is insane.
It's insane. It's insane.
That's a child.
These kids have a lot to deal with. And look, I'm going to agree with Nick a little bit here, where it's play stupid games, get stupid prizes. Yes, we should all be smart enough to not allow a kid to run on the field. Hey, whatever, right? Like I'm not excusing the kid's behavior because he deserves the same treatment. But I mean, don't we not show the same aggressive use of force on children that we do on grown adults. I just thought that that's one of the ways. I thought that's how we approach life. But the kids are fast. You're right about that, Scott Mack. And yeah, I don't know. I still don't think squashing a kid between 3 security guards is a really good lesson learned.
Yeah,
but
the sandwich tackle was insane.
The sandwich tackle is insane. They didn't show good sprint speed. They didn't show good open field tackling. I think that honestly, they might have to consider some new personnel for their security staff out there in San Diego, but that's only because California baseball fans are insane and you can never know what to predict out of them. But we are going to go into overtime. Just real quickly, we do appreciate you guys watching on Roku, watching on Zumo, watching wherever you're at. Make sure to come on over to gophnx.com. We're going to keep the party going because I have to give a shout out to my guy, Tim Cisco. Tim Cisco, another young man, much better behaved young man than this young man, Damon. Tim is 14 years old. He's a freshman in high school. I had the pleasure of meeting him yesterday. Just wanted to give him a shout out because he told me he listens to the show, and it's not even because his dad listens to the show. So most of the time, if a small child does listen to the show, it's usually influenced by a parent, just like maybe that kid running on the field was influenced by a parent suggesting
not
that's a good
small
idea.
child. He's 14. He's in high school.
You're right. You make a good point. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call my daughter a small child, nor should I call Tim a small child.
A young man.
A young man, if you will. Yes, a young man with impeccable fashion sense, wearing a purple, the vest home jersey. That was great to see. But I thought when I talked to him, I asked him like how old he was. He said 14. He said he was starting high school. Made me feel very much like I need to provide this young man with some guidance. It's one of the things I do around here for the young people here in this office. I do it for Kevin. I do it for Damon. I do it for Shane. I do it for everybody. And I think that we need to give some advice to Tim for starting high school. Guys, I think we can do it together collectively. I feel like the first thing I want to say is be yourself. But no, don't do that. They're going to eat you alive. So don't be yourself. Instead, no, I'm just kidding. You're going to be around these people for 4 years and then you're never going to see them again. Keep that in consideration. Don't care what these people do. But I do suggest in high school, I think a very important thing is finding your tribe, finding your people, finding whoever makes you feel comfortable and allows you to be yourself. So I think that's something very important. Plus, there's safety in numbers, Damon. You need numbers. It's a numbers game in high school, right?
I know I'm the weird one here, but I met most of my best friends in high school that are still my best friends to this day. And,
but you've been out of high school for what, 2 years?
Come
3
on.
years?
Don't make me feel old now.
You baby-faced boy.
Dude, 8 years.
Yeah. Wow.
How gross is that?
That is gross. That's gross.
I'm an old bastard.
Yeah, that's crazy. But no, I mean, I do still have some friends from high school. Absolutely. I would never say absolutely that you're never going to see these people, but don't care what these people think. You're going to be fine. I will
totally.
say
High school is a mean place. I
it's
will
such
say
a
that.
mean place, and you feel like it's like your entire world at the time. You know
Totally.
what I mean?
And you look back on it and you say to yourself, that really just wasn't worth the mental toll that I put myself through. If you can stay aware in the moment, like 100%, do your own thing. Hang out with people that treat you with respect, and it'll work itself out.
Let's see. El Gallo asked if the child was here in the chat because he was like, I gotta clean it up. I don't think he's here in the chat. He did say he listens, so maybe I should probably clean up my language a little bit more. But Elizabeth gives some great advice. Zabe says, take your grades seriously enough to get into college, but not seriously enough. It stresses you out when this doesn't matter as an adult.
Oh, here's another good
Well
piece
said.
of advice.
Yeah.
Don't freaking take honors and AP classes. Just take the easy road, get the best GPA possible. And
yeah, because at the end of the day, they don't really care that you went to those AP classes if your GPA
Harvard
isn't very
does.
high.
Harvard does.
Yeah, Kevin, you're not going to Harvard. Calm down over there. God. Yeah, well, that's true. But learn how to take a joke. I think learning how to take a joke at a high school level, like you said, high school's very mean. It's a superpower to learn how to take a joke. To let like insults and stuff kind of roll off is not easy. I still get very mad at several people in this chat for their insults towards me on a daily basis, all the time. You guys are here all the time telling me I suck, and I don't take it well. I go home, I cry. Don't be me, Tim, is what I'm saying. Don't be me. Also, don't be afraid to try new things. And I think that someone else said that in regards to going out, trying extracurricular activities. You'll never know what you're going to fall in love with. You really don't. You never know without trying stuff exactly what you're going to love. And again, don't be shy. Don't try. You never know you're going to make your new best friend or you're going to change your life or whatever. But this is one of those things that I really do feel like helped me, and maybe even a mistake I made at times. But speaking of mistakes you made or I made in life, if you want to work in baseball, Tim, pay attention in math. Because every single day of my horrible existence on this planet is filled with math all the time. I'm always doing stats. I'm always doing math, the amount of ERA calculations and batting averages and such I have to do. It's awful. It's the worst. So pay attention in math if you want to work in baseball. But I wish I had better advice for you. I do hope that some of this advice can help you out. But most importantly, I appreciate you listening. Again, you are a young person that has a lot of things going on in life. You probably have a lot of YouTubers that I've never heard of that you're a big fan of. So I appreciate the fact that I am one of them. Much like to all of you, like we've said, we appreciate you guys letting us into your homes and sharing your time with us. Your time is your most valuable commodity. So again, make sure you share it with the right people. Don't just give it away. But you can follow us on Twitter. We're going to go away now. I guess we're going to do another show tomorrow at noon. I'm going to go watch Mega Ran rap at the Valley Bar next door. So I'm very excited to do that. Of course, you guys have yourselves a wonderful evening. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. My guy Damon Dog is at Damon Dog, DAWG. We are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys so much again for your time. We appreciate you guys stopping by. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, enjoy this win. I guess enjoy both wins for many of you that felt like this change at third base was needed. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, behave yourselves, and remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you make the tough decisions you need to make earlier on in the season.
We all silly like the mayor.